Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. We might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she's never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at crossed in the last 3 years are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, because they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Diablo asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh. Oh, God. Damn it, AD. I think you just need to find a gentle way.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and the scene walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And finally, they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the, because you can't be pardoned if you're not guilty.
Whether he can preemptive part, whether he can issue President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would
can't?
Be a gross abuse
of
the presidential
It's a
pardon
gross abuse of presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, Jamie Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, Jamie Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons is
Yes, it's only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt. Or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
Jamie
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he
about
get a
this.
pardon also? Wasn't he on
Well,
that committee?
The seeking of pardons is...
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. You're going to condemn that pardon.
You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people, commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold him.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama-Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators thinking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, they're still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Sally, is there an aisle in the grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Trump has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
At the end of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Blame it on the rain, it's falling, falling. Blame it on the rain, it's not at night. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, with a Milli Vanilli song stuck in my head. Thank you, Avocados Diabli, for that gem. Although the other song that's going through my head is MacArthur Park is melting in the dark, all the sweet green icing flowing down. You know that song. Anyway, hi, happy Tuesday, and it's it Prime Day too? What's the date? Oh yeah, Prime Day. It's the 8th. Yippee. I'm going to go support some capitalism and buy some shit on Amazon. Okay. Anyway, hi, happy Tuesday. It's the Morning Night Live, and I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome to the Dawg Knight Channel on this Tuesday, the 8th of July, 2025. And I've been privy to a large number of videos of people filled with rage and hate. For the guy in the White House, trying to blame him for a flood. And so we're gonna that's in theory the main topic today, and because there's somebody who want to just blame Trump for a weather event, and people not understanding what a flash flood is and what time of day this happened, and why maybe people might not have been moving out of the danger area because it was 4 a.m. And just sometimes people just don't wake up, don't heed those kind of warnings. But the idea that, Donald Trump gutted the National Weather Service, the NOAA, and all this other shit that is just completely BS. And the media, as we showed yesterday, kind of fueled this by trying to find ways to make it Trump's fault. And, it's just... It's disappointing, but then there are some even people out there that who have had the voice of reason, and that's why I put occasional reason, because there's been a few people, and not people who do not support Trump at all, but are saying stop politicizing this tragedy that has nothing to do with politics and has nothing to do with any policy that happened. The people were in place, everything was done the right way, and it just happened. And there's also obviously the conspiracy theories of cloud salting or whatever, rain enhancement techniques, and that's a whole nother story that we might hear about, who knows. But anyway, we're gonna get into the show. I'm trying to get through this fast because I got a lot of tabs open and not as much time as I'd like to have. So let's say hi first in the chat. Today is, of course, Mr. Avocados Diabli, who gets the bell. Congratulations. Also, good morning, Renee Mayette, who is on her way to drive somewhere. I hope you drive safely. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Blame it on the rain. Resolute Germ, what's happening? Also, K-Shaw, what up, Kirsten? Tyler F. Darren Roots in the house. Plague Trucker Zach. Hope you're getting your stuff taken care of. I know we were talking about that a little bit yesterday. Also, the Pope, Tyrannius III, the Blessed Lich, blessed of the Holy Ghost, to all his children, may he visit upon you this day joy and happiness. That's a message from the Pope. Good morning, Anon, 1, 2, 3. Ha, 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 ha. The ad before your stream was a couple of talking about how her cooter tasted like pineapple last night. Fan-fucking-tastic. Well, that didn't work. Some tropical goodness. How does she know what she tasted? Her cooter tastes like. She was down there doing that. I'm not going to animate that. Anyway, also good morning, Select a Boy. Yeah, and did I say Darren Root? I did say Darren Root. Attack Alpaca's in the house. Somnambul Nation, Aaron Meredith, and Louie. is in the chat. Also, Unacceptable Views, my other favorite Canadian. And Nomad. Oh, Nomad's in the house.
Hammer time.
Formerly known as MC. Thus the Hammer Time. And I think that's everybody. Anyway, nice to have you all here. And, a little more people to start than normal. That's good. 21 people in the chat, but only 7 likes. Can we fix that, please? Just can we get it? Look, the goal right now, we got 21 people. Let's make the goal 18 likes. Come on, people. Do your thing. All right. Let's get into the show because, like I said, I'm limited time and all that shit. Oh, thanks to people also who are posting the show. I've already retweeted a few of you and some Let's Go's in the chat, which are awesome. I love it. So let's start here with, what's this? Oh, that's something someone sent me. Someone sent me that. First, we'll start, of course, Somnable Nation does their own thing. Dropping links. Also, who is that? That looks like a fake rock. Who is that? Thank you, Resolute Germ, the Daily Wrestler. I don't know who that is either because it's someone too recent. It's not a fake rock. It's somebody else that gets the shoulder sleeve and whatever. Anyway, so you said who it was, didn't you? Let me look up here. Where is it? You told me who the wrestler was, didn't you? Oh, maybe not. Okay, never mind. Anyway, there's the wrestler guy, and then let's see who we got. Oh, Honky Kong says, let's go. All right, that's funny. An albino gorilla. And Mike Savage of the Daily Let Us Go. Oh, I didn't retweet any of these. Let me repost that. I'll repost that. And and I'll repost that. Oh, I can't. I'll repost that. And that's the Honky Kong. Oh, I'm not quoting. God, learn how to use the damn X thing, Machini. Dinger bobber. There we go. Repost. There we go. And Mike Savage with Let Us Go, of course. And the Daily Ric Flair. Woo! From Ty Alexander. Thank you, sir. And then an LFG from Arthur Nix. Thank you, sir. I don't know if you're here, but if you are, I'm glad you are. But thanks for reposting the show. And, what is this? Doggies in super suits. They're wearing something. Thank you. Amazing. Disgrace is probably in the house. I haven't seen you yet, but I'm going to say hi anyway. And then all the people who retweeted CG and Arthur Nix and Ty Alexander and Somnable Nation, Resolute Germ, and finally Kirsten Shull, K Shull, and a Let's Go from CG. Nicely done with the... Wait, what's with the raccoon? Are you trying to... never mind. Hello, Willie is in the house. Hi, Willie. What up? All right, thanks everybody for doing that shit because I need the boost. I need the boost. All right, let's get right into some news because there's some kind of interesting news in here. One is and Tyre, thank you, sir. I'm sure you're instrumental in part of this. The TSA is ending their 23-year shoes off security policy. My God, one of the dumbest things that I have to do when I go through airports is take off my shoes. Especially, you wear size 14s and you have bad hips. It's hard to put the shoes back on and shit. Transportation Security Administration has ended its 23-year policy requiring passengers to remove their shoes during airport security screenings effective today, July 8, 2025. Yeah! That dumb, yeah. They're worried about shoe bombs. The policy shift has been widely welcomed, with many criticizing the former rule as a security theater with little actual security benefit. Reports from travelers at various airports confirm the immediate implementation of this new rule, with some confusion among passengers accustomed to the old procedure. I didn't have, there's been a couple places where I didn't have to do that. And I was so happy that I didn't have to take my damn shoes off. So anyway, that's so breaking news. Here's the, they were speculating this yesterday. At long last, TSA rumored to roll back dreaded security checkpoint rule as early as today. It's done. It was done yesterday. No more taking the damn shoes off. So there you go. The Pope says, however, you will still need to do it in case of alarms and random screening. Okay, well, yeah. I get random screen a lot. I don't know if it's because I'm just a large, light-skinned black man or not. who knows? Anyway, also in the news, truckers facing the English proficiency mandate. Remember, we were talking about this a while back. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has announced the enforcement of a policy requiring truck drivers to demonstrate English proficiency. This policy, linked to Connor's Law, aimed to enhance road safety by ensuring drivers can understand regulations, road signs, and communicate effectively with law enforcement. The enforcement follows a period of less stringent application during the Obama administration. And, of course, the Biden administration, because, Biden didn't give a shit about that. So, anyway, Sean Duffy talking about this on the dreaded Fox News. How long is this? It's only a minute clip. Let's watch it. Here we go. Here's Sean Duffy talking about this enhanced enforcement requirement.
Also got some news on when it comes to trucking in the United States. And one thing that I think that it might be of interest to a lot of people are new rules requiring that if you want to drive an 18-wheeler on our roads with a commercial license, you're going to have to learn how to speak English and understand and read English so that you can be trusted to know all of the regulations and safety precautions required to drive these 18-wheelers.
Well, all the road signs, but also if you get in a car crash or if you're pulled over by law enforcement, you have to be able to communicate what you have on your truck, on your rig. Listen, this is not a new rule. By the way,
it's an old rule.
Only requirement or English proficiency requirement has been on the books for a long time. It's just that Barack Obama made sure that if you violated that rule, it was a slap on the wrist. We're going back to the old rule of we're going to put your rig out of service and make sure that you don't drive if you can't speak the language, which, again, this is just common sense. This is our language. If you're going to get on the road with one of these potentially dangerous vehicles, speak our language.
Says, what if it's a 16-wheeler, though? Really? Or what if it's a 22-wheeler? I think they mean any trucks that have a separating tractor and trailer, which is what you need a special license for. So, yeah. So anyway, it's an old rule. They're just going to start enforcing it again. So that's interesting. Moving on. Also, things trending. Oh, James Gunn's version of Superman's coming out, or it's out, or something. And a lot of people like it. Some people who are like, they're. Oh, Evan S. Hi, Evan. I didn't see you there. I see you now, though. Some are saying that James Gunn decided to make this about immigration, and that's why I guess Superman gets arrested or something. James Gunn's Superman film has been met with widespread acclaim for its faithful adaptation of the comic book's ethos, delivering a narrative rich in hope and optimism. Except I bet you it's not like pro-American like the comic book was. Truth, justice, and the American way? No longer. Anyway, and authenticity. David Corenswet's portrayal of Superman has been universally praised for capturing the essence of the character. The film also features notable performances by Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Critics and fans have lauded Gunn's direction for its vibrant comic-inspired visuals and storytelling, although some minor narrative critiques have been noted. Superman has seen a successful launch in the new DC universe, blending action, humor, and emotional. I just wonder, is it going to be as dark as most of the other DC, the DC comic world, whatever movies? Because they all seem to be really dark, and where the Marvel ones all seem to are very vibrant and have a lot of stuff, cool stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the reviews are. If you're a Superman fan, congratulations. You get another freaking Superman movie. Just what we need. Moving on. Also, oh my God. People are talking about the Epstein file cover-up. And that's a hashtag that's trending right now. The Epstein file cover-up. And this one, I am so confused about this whole Epstein thing. And this little, the meme with the dude from The Office, well, they threw old Ghislaine Maxwell's head on it. And I think this is very appropriate. Right here. If there are no clients, why is she in jail right now? That's a good question. That's a damn good question. Now, Also, let's see. Now it's 2020. Project Veritas. Even Project Veritas. A lot of people out here on the left, on the right. Now the people on the left are all saying, "Oh, it's because Trump's in the mention so many times." Well, Trump's mentioned because he's one of the few people who turned Jeffrey Epstein in and actually testified against him without a subpoena. Just voluntarily came in and said, "Yeah, this dude's fucked up." But so here's the Project Veritas says that 2025, Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Virginia Jeffrey is dead, and the Epstein client list supposedly doesn't exist. Yet in 2019, we reported on this from Amy Robach. It was unbelievable what we had. Bill Clinton, we had everything. So let's go down memory lane and see what Amy Robach was saying back in 2019, and then we'll hit this super chat by Advocatus Diaboli. So this is from 2019, right here.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince
That would be the British Crown Palace.
Andrew, and threatened us in a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview.
Is Amy Robach still alive, by the way?
That also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me.
I don't care. And again, I don't care if it's friend or foe. I want everybody who was involved with that shit perp walked. And that if that includes people I like, I don't care. That, we got the Epstein cover, the Diddy cover up, we got the John Podesta cover up, which you're not supposed to talk about, and then even some Joe Biden shit. But I'm just saying, why Pam? What is it? 6 months ago, Pam Bondi was talking about having the files on her desk. And now all of a sudden it's gone. And we'll talk about that more. But listen to the rest of this.
Everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything.
Bill Gates. What was Oprah doing at the island?
To no avail.
It's funny how Oprah's connected to all these SA people. You know what I mean? Whatever. That's the term everyone uses. Why, she's Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the Obamas. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't say that. Well, kind of. I don't know. There's rumors. Anyway.
And now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it.
She had the whole damn story.
I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God. I want
to know now, because this is 6 years now, and I want to know where Amy Robach is, and I want to know what she had, because she had, somebody had stuff. Somebody had something. Bill Cosby. Oh yeah, she wasn't so much connected to Bill Cosby, Oprah, as far as Oprah, but she definitely Weinstein and Epstein. There was one more. What was the third? There was a triumvirate of people. Oprah. Oh, and Diddy. Diddy too. Oprah was friends with Diddy. She had the triumvirate of fuckheads. Anyway, anyway, I'll leave this. This will be in the. I'll have this in the links. I'll put a separate link for this, just for memory lane or whatever. There you go. There's Amy Robach. Anyway, so thank you, Advocatus Diaboli, sponsoring the show. Let me make sure that I stop this first. There we go. We'll pause it. Thank you, Advocatus Diaboli, sponsoring the show. First bullet in the tip jar, and that means you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Yeah, baby. Thank you, sir. Who says, okay, James, I get your point. The day someone shows up at the border and says, I need asylum, my home planet exploded, and it is true, I will gladly let them in without hesitation. Yeah, absolutely. Because, James got to decide to say, well, this is about an immigrant. Yeah, an immigrant who probably deserves asylum because your planet blew up and shit. Anyway. All right, so lots of memes though. Here we go. America is not a democracy, but a hypocrisy. Can you give me the Epstein list? Sure thing. We just need to censor the victims' names, and it's gone. What? What happened to the Epstein list? That's my best. That's not even Cartman. Which one is this? It's one of the guys. Here's another one. The reason the FBI won't let the Epstein client list come out in court is because if they did, their blackmail would no longer be useful, and the CIA would lose control over all the powerful people they spent decades setting up, according to Julian Assange. Look, let me ask you something. It's a simple question. Do you agree with Julian Assange? I am leaning at that because, first of all, if there was no problem, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail? I know I love to call her Ghislaine. Except for the image it brings about. Anyway, Ghislaine's in jail. Jeffrey Epstein. Why did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself if there's nothing happening? So I'm not happy with any of these three right now. Oh, you can't even see them. Shit. Here. These three. I'm not happy with any of these three right now because I think they are also peddling some bullshit. There are too many. The question was, there's too many powerful people involved, and that's the only reason I can think why nothing's happening. Now, of course, the anti-Trumpers are out here. Face it, Becca, if your president's name weren't all over the Epstein files, they would have been released unredacted, printed, and bound in $500 special editions signed by Trump, recorded as an audiobook by James Woods and Mel Gibson, and tattooed on Lauren Boebert's ass. Not a fan of this person on the internet, but survey says, just saying, you're not wrong. But then some of the other people, just let's get this straight. Epstein died mysteriously on Trump's watch. Trump promised to release Epstein files if he were elected again, and now the entire case has been buried on Trump's watch. Not totally suspicious at all. But again, let's go back to the fact that Donald Trump is the only one who gave information without having to be subpoenaed, and he didn't, he gave it freely. The attorneys for the victims praised Donald Trump for that. So I'm just saying. An amazing disgrace. I said hi to you before you even got here, I think, but you're here. Amazing disgrace is in the house. So anyway, nothing. I don't have any fault with any of these people. Let's see, what's this? So Epstein is also trending. Pam Bondi said the Epstein list was on her desk to review for release to the public just a few months ago. Now the DOJ she leads claims there is no Epstein client list. Sorry, but this is unacceptable. Was she lying then or is she lying now? We deserve answers. That was the same question somebody asked yesterday. And yeah, this lady right here, why is she in jail if there's nothing? And then even Caroline Leavitt, she even kind of, they asked her a question about it. I think this is the right clip. They asked her about it, and I'm only doing this, posting this on the video for research purposes and Advocatus Diaboli. Listen, I think this is where they ask her, and she totally changes the subject.
The FBI looks at the circumstances.
Oh, and this is Peter Doocy. Peter Doocy's asking tough questions, like he does sometimes. Well, he does a lot, but anyway.
Of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list.
She got to know it's
so
ready.
What happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General
What happened to it?
She had on her desk.
Come on!
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now.
Yep, that's exactly what she said.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein.
No. He asked a very specific question. And she said, yes, we need to review it. Hello, Miss Wild Wolf.
Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General
I'm going to go back.
was referring.
Listen,
it's sitting on my desk right now to review. Will that really happen? And she said, It's sitting on my desk right now.
Because he asked very specifically.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork,
there?
all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was
Sorry,
referring
guys.
to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation.
Whoa. Hold up, Caroline. Why are you changing the subject about bad people being put behind bars? This is a very specific question about a very specific person and a very specific file. Now you're going to go out here talking about bad people here and there. Listen.
Going on right now called Summer Heat. Which
Yeah,
has
we're not asking
murder,
about summer
rape,
heat. That's not what the question was about, Caroline. I don't know why we're changing the subject. And again, sometimes
trending in the lowest direction in United States
out
history.
there,
Their emphasis
totally
on violent
different.
crime and locking
Yeah.
up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent
Caroline.
criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same
Why
time
are
period
we
last year.
changing the
So
subject?
this
You
Attorney
can't
General,
even look at Peter Ducey while you're answering that question. And it goes on for another 30 seconds. I'm not going to play it because I don't need to. Why? She's a fucking attorney. She should know better than to misspeak like that. If she said it is on my desk in response to the list, she also meant the list was on her desk. No, that was the question. She said it's on my desk. And everybody on every part of the planet and every side of every political whatever is having some questions about this. Everybody. If you're going to lie to us about the Epstein list, you might as well make these two press secretaries again. This is funny. I didn't even see that. You might as well put them back behind this press secretary desk. No. So and Angela Bel Camino, whatever her name is, made a good point that I endorse. I think we can all agree that if Democrats are on the Epstein list, lock their asses up. I'm paraphrasing, and throw away the key. If Republicans are on the Epstein list, lock their ass up and throw away the key. Again, I'm paraphrasing. We demand justice for the victims and accountability for perpetrators. Agree? Yes. All right. Enough about that. The other thing's trending because of this, though, related to it, is Mossad, because some people thinking that Jeffrey Epstein was working for Mossad, and so a lot of the Alex Joneses of the world and the Elijah Schaffer. I'm getting sick of Elijah Schaffer, though. I'd like to kick him right in his fucking nuts. Anyway, because he's just become an asshole. He was always an asshole, but now he's becoming I used to like his stuff because I thought he was funny. But anyway, here's some examples. To be clear, I'm not calling for violence. I'm just saying historically any government that would cover up for sex trafficking and ring for minors to be the rich and powerful would justifiably overthrown by any means necessary. Epstein worked for Mossad, FYI. That's why they're lying. That's one person, Elijah Schaffer. They wanted you to be mad at Tucker Carlson for interviewing a world leader while they mopped up the Epstein Mossad blackmail op and finished the Diddy cleanup. What's up with that? I don't get it. And again, a lot of rich and powerful people involved with Diddy. Because Diddy went to jail. Now you got to go through the Diddy list. Anyone asking for the Diddy list yet? Because there is a Diddy list. There's some probably Diddy video. Video not of Diddy, but of Diddy's Diddy list. Alex Jones, the DOJ is running cover for the CIA and Mossad. No one is buying this. Next, the DOJ will say, actually, Epstein never really existed. This is over the top sickening. So I'm not going to play 8 minutes of Alex Jones saying that, but you know what I'm saying. Watch the Razor Fist video on McCarthy, and you might understand why. Well, we might just do that. I might just make some time for that. All right, other things. Maxwell's trending because, again, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail right now then if there's no client list? Pam Bondi, obviously trending because, she's the one who had to make this announcement. Now let's move on to MacArthur Park is melting in the dark. All the sweet icing blowing down. LOL, it's over 2 hours. What's over 2 hours? Oh, the Raise Your Fist video? Oh, I'll watch that on my own time, though. We're not going to watch that. Usually he just has like 10 minutes, but he's got 2 hours on it. Holy shit. So anyway, so apparently I'm not fully informed of what went on in MacArthur Park, in Los Angeles. All I know is that they were doing a big old sweep because apparently a lot of the gang members from foreign lands taking over the park, and kids can't even play there and shit. I've been to MacArthur Park back when it was still a nice park, but now it's a shithole because all the homeless people live there. But anyway, apparently there was a sweep of MacArthur Park, and Karen Bass was not happy about it. I'm going to go to the article first because this will help explain what's going on. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass confronts heavily armed federal agents in immigration sweep. Border Patrol official declares, better get used to us. And there's a riot over there. A Border Patrol official declared Monday that agents will be sticking around Los Angeles until their mission is accomplished, as Mayor Karen Bass lashed out at federal law enforcement conducting a parent immigration sweep at a local park, a.k.a. MacArthur Park. I won't sing it again. Heavily armed officers with immigration and custom enforcement, custom and border protection, and military units deployed by President Trump arrived at MacArthur Park in force, with the agents seen carrying rifles and traveling across the grounds on foot, horseback, and armored vehicles. Bass, who was due to meet with California Governor Gavin Newsom in the morning, showed up in the middle of the operation to yell at the agents to get out of the park, slamming the action as a political stunt. That they need to leave, and they need to leave right now, Karen Bass yelled after getting off the phone with someone coordinating the officers. What I saw in the park today looked like a city under siege, she told reporters following the confrontation. It's outrageous and un-American to have armed vehicles in our American parks. All right. I'm not 100% arguing with Karen Bass on this. It seems like a stunt, but still, I think the point was made. Bass was only at the park momentarily after speaking with CBP Assistant Chief Patrol Agent David Kim, who handed her a direct line to the head of customs. She added, noting that the agents left moments later. One Border Patrol official promised that federal agencies were not backing down, and had a few choice words for Bass herself. Quote, "The federal government is not leaving Los Angeles. The federal government does not work for Karen Bass. We are going to be here until that mission is accomplished." Border Patrol El Centro Sector Chief Gregory Bovino told Fox Los Angeles, "Better get used to us now, because this is going to be normal very soon." Now, I don't know if you need to say all that, with especially the military guys. It doesn't look amazing, the military guys, but I understand what they're trying to do. Bass and members of the LA City Council said the sweep disrupted a children's summer camp, with the children corralled into a nearby basement while waiting for agents to leave. I wouldn't have any children at that park right now, with all the homeless, the needles, the fucking... Oh, but they do have some soccer fields and stuff, as you can see right here. Anyway, the raid also pushed out members of the St. John's Community Health Center, who were conducting their daily checkups with homeless individuals at the park, officials added. The mayor also went on X to vent about the operation at MacArthur, posting a time-lapse video of the agents marching across an empty soccer field inside the park. Minutes before, there were more than 20 kids playing. Then the military comes through, she said of the raid. The second I heard about this, I went to the park to speak to the person in charge and tell them they needed to end now. Absolutely outrageous, Bass added. It remains unclear if anyone was arrested during the sweep, as activists had gone around the park to warn people to leave before the officers marched through, according to the Los Angeles Times. So anyway, there's a lot of hubbub about that. MacArthur Park is trending. Here's the oh, this is someone saying that it's outrageous and un-American. It must be an NBC person. Here, let's watch this.
The problems in and around MacArthur Park are getting worse, and those who spend time there every day say they're fed up. Those complaints continue weeks after Langer's Deli threatened to close due to drugs, crime, and other issues.
NBC4's Alex Rozier was at the park today. He joins us live on what he heard out there as well. Alex?
Yes, the children camp in the middle there.
We are live tonight a few blocks from MacArthur Park, as we felt that this is really the closest we can get and report live safely nearby.
Because
but today we went into the park and got a close look at a very sad situation.
Needle is homeless.
MacArthur Park has the potential to be one of the prettiest parks in the city. But if you visit it today, this is a sampling of what you'll see.
This is a forgotten park.
Derek Rice has worked nearby for 34 years.
And I can imagine how it used to be. I can imagine families walking to the park, kids having fun, running around. Now that's how you see the homeless park.
I was there when I was a kid.
Addicts and so 24 hours just hanging out there.
A few blocks away, we saw Miguel, who just picked up his 6-year-old daughter from school. I asked him about the park. He said, it's kind of scary because there are a lot of people who are drugged up, and so we are scared to walk through.
But couldn't he find someone who had get his speaking English? Although I understand the Spanish, but I don't. Most of you don't.
There. Complaints from the community continue weeks after Langer's Deli across the street threatened to close after nearly 80 years in business.
I've been complaining about this for ages.
Norm Langer blames nearby crime, drug use, and mental illness as a reason he's lost a third of his longtime business.
It's somewhat out of control.
The park is in Los Angeles Council member
somewhat out of
Ulysses
control.
Hernandez district.
It's all out of control.
The challenges facing MacArthur Park.
All right, you get the idea. MacArthur Park is a shithole in the dark, in the daytime. And all that sweet green icing, he had icing for years. Place the shithole. Anyway, so that's why Karen Bass was mad. That's why MacArthur Park is in the news. All right, I'm going to move past that. No amnesty. Oh, there's a whole bunch of immigration stuff trending. No amnesty. Apparently, breaking a growing number of not only Democrats but also Republicans are pressuring President Trump to support mass amnesty for illegals across the country. Any Republican supporting this must be primaried. There's some people are talking about amnesty. I'm like, no. Someone here, I did not vote for amnesty. The Democrats are just trying to secure their future elections. We all know illegals vote Democrat. That's why the big push in allowing invasion of border. Now, there's someone to tell you that, no, illegal immigrants are not voting. They're not allowed to vote. Here's the statute, and the statutes are across the country that does not allow them to vote. Well, here's the problem. In some of these states where they're allowing illegal immigrants to have driver's license, and even legal immigrants, but whatever. A lot of these states also have what's known as motor voter. Now, in my lovely state of Minnesota, if you get a driver's license, and they do allow illegal aliens to get driver's licenses in Minnesota, you're also automatically registered to vote. Now, you would think that, wait, you can't do it if you're a legal alien. Well, no, you're not supposed to, but guess what? In order to not vote, you would have to opt out from voting, and probably half the illegal immigrants who are here or whatever may not even speak English, know the difference, but that they do go vote, and there's been documented people of certain illegal aliens vote. Now, I wouldn't say it's a large scale, but the idea that they don't, some of them don't, none of them vote, not a single one, well, that's not true either. So anyway, I don't know that Donald Trump is interested in amnesty. If this legislation is proposed, it must be defeated. Well, let's see what this is, because did Donald Trump talk about it? I hope. What is he saying here?
Tom Homan. And we're working on legislation right now. Susie, right? We're working on legislation right now where farmers, look, they know better. They work with them for years. You had cases where, not here, but just even over the years, where people have worked for on a farm for 14, 15 years, and they get thrown out pretty viciously, and we can't do it. We got to work with the farmers and people that have hotels and leisure properties too. We're going to work with them, and we're going to work very strong and smart, and we're going to put you in charge. We're going to make you responsible, and I think that that's going to make a lot of people happy. Now,
okay, now listen. Those are called worker visa programs, which we have them already, and I don't care so much if we have working visa programs, the farm worker visa programs, which we already have. A lot of the California farm workers use those, and I don't care. That's fine as long as we're vetting everybody. I'm not so concerned the fact that we have immigration, although we need to keep it at a flow that is manageable. But the fact that we have so many unvetted people just walking across the border. He used a lot of words and said almost nothing. Yeah. True. But I know what he's trying to say. And look, then fine. Enhance the farm worker visa, whatever they have. There's HB something. I don't care about that. But as long as every single person who comes in this country is vetted, and if they want to be an American, they want to be an American. If they don't want to be American, get the fuck out. Unless you're a guest worker, whatever. So anyway, you see that across Europe too. Where I was in, as you know, I was in Spain recently, and there were people there working that were from other countries, but they were working and living in Spain because they have a guest worker visa that they have. It works fine. I don't care about that. It's just that when you have unfettered, people coming across the border and you don't know who they are, and you got gang members and all this other shit, that has to be curbed. We have to know who's here, and we have to know who wants to actually be here versus just to take advantage and send money back home. You know what I mean? So anyway, on that note, though, Trump did recently end temporary protected status for tens of thousands of more migrants. Trump administration has moved to end more than 25 years of temporary protected status for immigrants from Nicaragua and Honduras. The Department of Homeland Security announced the change in the Federal Register, saying that the protections officially lapsed on July 5th. A 60-day transition period is now in effect before termination becomes final, originally granted following natural disasters in the late 1990s. That's just it. Plus, they give these people protected status, and it becomes permanent. And for example, a lot of Somalians in Minnesota, tons of them here, about 60,000 across the state. We're here on a refugee status, right? They're here on a refugee status, supposedly because they can't go back to their home country. But then a lot of them go back to visit Somalia quite often. And you're like, wait a minute. If you can go back and visit Somalia, you could just stay there. But, they like to... they like it here, and I don't care. I mean, if they want to be Americans, more power to them. Some of the Somalians that I know that work with me at different, I work around, are cool as hell. But a couple really don't like Ilhan Omar too. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. All right. Anyway, so originally granted following natural disasters in the late 1990s, temporary protected status since the 1990s for these countries has been repeatedly extended by multiple administrations. The status provides work authorization and protection for deportation, but does not offer a path to permanent residency. Around 50,000 migrants are estimated to be impacted. During the first Trump administration, DHS tried to cancel these designations, but was bogged down by lawfare suits. The Joe Biden government extended the status again after rescinding these terminations. Now, the Trump administration has reasserted its position, citing the program's temporary nature. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, immigration news. Tom Homan, the border czar, dismisses the socialist New York City mayoral hopeful Mamdani's pledge to block deportations.
Mr. Homan, Zoran Mamdani, the likely next mayor of New York City, has promised not to cooperate with you or with ICE or deportations of any kind. Do you have a plan? Is there a plan to work around that? How are you going to handle it?
Good luck on that, because we're going to be in New York City, and President Trump said it 2 weeks ago.
Good luck on that, he says.
We're going to double down, triple down on sanctuary cities. Why? Not because they're a blue city or a blue state, because we know that's where the problem is.
Because they're assholes.
We know they're releasing public safety threats and national security threats to the streets every day because they don't honor our detainers. We know that. We don't have that problem like in Florida, where every sheriff in the state's working with us. So where we're going to send our assets, we're going to send them where the problem is. Sanctuary cities. So I've said it before. We'll flood the zone of sanctuary cities. If they don't let us arrest a bad guy in the county jail, they're going to arrest him in the community. We're going to arrest them at a work site. So we're going to increase community operation. We're going to increase work site enforcement operation. We're going to get the bad guys. So if they don't want to help, get out of the way. We're coming to do it.
All right. So there you go. So much for that idea, Mr. Mamdani. Oh, Reaction Political says TPS never granted status. It was a cash cow for USCIS. Oh, well, I did not know that. What is USCIS? Tell me what that is in the chat when you get a chance. All right, and then oh my gosh. So there's a bunch of Trump derangement. Teachers Union has resolved to call Trump fascist. Supports student protest over ICE raids. The largest teachers union in the United States has demanded that $3,500 be set aside so that it can officially refer to President Donald Trump and his programs and actions as fascist. You know, that's what you do when you're losing. When you're losers, you have to label people. Members of the National Education Association during its annual convention adopted a resolution that would have the group put up the cash so that all official NEA materials could correctly characterize, quote unquote, the agenda of the Trump administration as fascist. What's fascist about decentralizing government? It'd be fascist if you tried to centralize everything, but by getting rid of the the education department and sending the functions back to the states and other departments, wouldn't that be more anti-fascist? Because you'd think if you have more government control of schools, that would be fascist. It's the other way around. But anyway, they have that in the plan. NEA pledges to defend democracy against Trump's embrace of fascism by using the term fascism in NEA materials to correctly characterize Donald Trump's programs and actions. The members of material sources of NEA must be committed to the defense of the democratic and educational conditions required by our hopes, whatever that means, our hopes for a just society and the survival of civilization itself by stating the truth. The cost implication, this item cannot be accomplished without current staff and resources under the 2025-2026 modified strategic plan and budget. It would cost an additional $3,500. So apparently that's just to change some words on websites or some shit, because I don't know how much printed materials they have. So they're going to spend $3,500 so they can officially call Trump a fascist. By the way, if you're interested, there's a graphic in American Thinker. If you're wondering who the largest foreign migrants are in your state, and when we say foreign migrants, that includes legal and illegal, because some are whatever. Where they're from, where they're mostly from is in here. Now I don't know what is that. A lot from India, but look, some of these are immigrants, so I wouldn't call them migrants. But if you want to know where the most prominent source of foreign what's the word? Foreign occupants? No, foreign residents, whatever. Of your state, you can look it up on this list. That's interesting, but not a big deal. Okay, let's talk about Texas before we go, because I wanted to bring this up because there's a lot. Oh my God, there's so much bullshit out there. And so I was gonna scroll through this Texas stream, but let's do a couple videos first, because I want to give you an idea of the kind of bullshit that people are saying. And some of these are based on some things the media did that the media's had to walk back since they've said it. But this is the kind of shit you're seeing on the internets. Hello, Hoko Sports. So here's this guy first. Trump and Doge cuts hit Texas National Weather Service offices.
You need to hear the news that the New York Times just broke, because we learned yesterday that the National Weather Service's forecasts were not to blame. No weather balloon launches were missed. Forecasts did predict heavy rain, and notifications of flooding were given hours in advance.
Now, it's funny because he's saying all the stuff that they were supposed to do got done, right? Just FYI, everything that they were supposed to do got done. But again, this was a front that stalled, and you can't predict the front stalling right over a certain area, and we still don't know about the cloud seeding stuff, but I'm not going to talk about that too much. Anyway,
it was that the warnings went out in the middle of the night.
Oh, they went out in the middle of the night. Oh, now, is that somebody's fault, or is that just when they decided? That's when the warnings happened? As soon as I heard him say that, like, it's almost like he's saying, well, they didn't go out until the middle of the night. So they didn't run around and have people to go in every home and valley and cabin and the girls' camp and everywhere and wake them up and say, hey, flash flood, it's a flash flood warning. And in fact, some people found out when their phones went off and still had problems because it was a flash flood, you asshole. Anyway.
Someone has to get the information and act on it.
someone has to get the information and act on it. Oh, you mean like send out the warnings? Send out the flash flood watch, and then the flash flood warning, and then the flash flood emergency, like they did do, because they had. Well, hold on. He's going to say something here that's. Oh, wait a minute. What? Why? What? Who's that? Someone you're thinking of?
Someone with a job title of, I don't know. How about a warning coordination, meteorologist, which is the name of one of the empty positions.
Oh, it sounds so important. It sounds so important. Like, oh my gosh, this position was open. Well, hang on, because he's going to talk about a couple other things.
National Weather Service's San Antonio field office. Why is it vacant, you might ask? This position, which, and I quote, is meant to work with local emergency managers to plan for floods, including when and how to.
Oh, to plan for flash floods. Okay, that's the whatever that office, the one person in San Antonio was gonna stop that flood from happening. They were gonna manage the flood, as in they were gonna change the direction of the flood because they're part of the National Weather Service. Like he could. Oh my God, this is so stupid.
To warn local residents and help them evacuate. This position.
How does he help them evacuate? They warned local residents. It's just that it was 4 in the fucking morning when most of them were asleep. Good God, this is so stupid.
And has been vacant since April 30th because the person who was in that job took Trump's early retirement package. Oh, that's the.
And are you saying that's what caused this? That's what he's trying to say, right? Because he's going to say they didn't have enough people. Wait a minute, the office that was managing this particular incident had extra people there. They had they were supposed to have 2 meteorologists. They had 5, so they had a whole bunch of people there. But no, he's gonna say, this position and this one position is why it was worse.
San Antonio office, which covers a much larger downstream area from where the major flooding occurred. San Angelo office, which covers Kerr County, was missing a senior hydrologist, staff forecaster, and meteorologist in charge.
Oh, really? Because they were only supposed to have 2 people there that day, and there were 5 meteorologists, including extra staff. There was all kinds of extra people there. This guy's talking out of his ass because he wants to blame Trump.
Overall, between the 2 offices covering the flood area, the job vacancy rate is double what it was when Trump took office.
Really? Double what it was? Okay, so you talked of 2 people. So instead of 1 person being vacant, there were 2? Is that what does double mean? Oh, there was 1 vacancy, but now there were 2 on very specific things when we had 3 extra meteorologists in the offices, where there's only supposed to be 2. So saying it's double doesn't mean anything. What's the normal vacancy? That's dumb. That's a dumb argument. It sounds terrible. It sounds like I don't know why I don't have this on the screen. This is the asshole talking.
This all points at a much larger issue that Trump and his MAGA cult just do not understand.
What don't we understand?
It is annoying that we live in a world with frustrating, unpredictable problems. And yes, it is expensive to deal with those frustrating and unpredictable problems. But it's the reality we live in, even if it's a reality that Trump is incapable of facing. Because what we're seeing right now is the consequence of his ignorant, naive
No! We're seeing the consequence of a bad weather event. Even if they had the greatest warning system in there, who knows how many? Have you ever? Because we get flash flood. When I was in Nebraska, at least, we used to get flash flood warnings all the time. But I ignored them all the time because I knew it wasn't where I was. But there was a flash flood warning. I'm sorry. Now, I think the thing that maybe could have helped if the camp maybe had radios and certain people were designated to be up and wake and ready to move people at any time in a moment's notice. But this has nothing to do with Doge cuts or anything Trump did or didn't do. This was a weather event that was an incredibly rare weather event. And he's trying to blame Trump.
fantasy, where he can fix everything faster than anyone else, where he can make everything better than anyone else, and where he can do everything cheaper than anyone else. And the best news is, it only takes 2 weeks. Sorry, America, but that's con man shit. And 75 million Americans played the role of the mark.
So we're all stupid then. And look, again, never see me in a MAGA hat, never see me a Trump on my body anywhere, no hats or anything. But you know what? You're an idiot. And I voted for him for all kinds of stuff. So anyway, another example of this is this jackhole. This one's even better.
This is why the disaster in Texas is Trump's fault.
How is it Trump's
22 children are missing.
It's a damn
37
flash
at this
flood.
point have died. Texas officials had no idea that this was coming.
False. They had a flash flood watch 24 hours in advance, which is about the time they're supposed to have it if they're going to have one. They had a flash flood warning in the middle of the night. They had a flash flood emergency. The only thing that they did, I mean, the idea that they didn't know it was coming, they did, because the National Weather Service told them. They said there was this rain from this tropical storm was coming across Texas. What they didn't know was going to happen was that it was going to stall out in one place, dropping extreme amounts of rain in one spot. Other than that, everything else was reported. The idea that they didn't know this was coming. Oh.
They had no way to prepare for this because Trump...
How do you prepare for something that pops up within 24 hours? What do you mean prepare? They had no way to prepare for it. They got out the warnings and they got out the information as they got the information.
Got rid of the people that do that.
Nope.
Now, the National Weather Service was already critically understaffed.
Not at that
before
office.
Trump and Elon Musk fired 600 staffers.
Then why was that office overstaffed at the time? That's another question. If they fired 600 staffers, that office was overstaffed at the time. So they got all the information out.
All 5 former directors of the agency wrote to Trump.
Don't care what they
about this
former
very
directors wrote.
thing. Quote, "Our worst nightmare is that the weather forecast offices will be so understaffed that there will be needless loss of life."
Wasn't the case here. They were overstaffed. They had extra staff that day. So your point is moot. And the prediction is silly.
That's exactly what happened.
No, it's not what happened. Just the opposite.
So Texas had no way of knowing that 10 inches of rain was going to flood this valley.
So Texas had no way of knowing that 10 inches of rain was going to flood this valley. You know why? Because even the predictions didn't predict 10 inches of rain. But they kind of figured it out. Holy shit.
Trump did this, and Republicans cheered. And now there's no more FEMA help for Texas either.
They've got.
Is this really what you wanted? Because this disaster was entirely predictable.
No, it wasn't. If it was highly unpredictable, they'd have been out of there because all the Weather Service guys are there. So that's 2 of the. These are all over the net. I could do this 100 times and you'd hear it over and over. But there are occasional people who are the voices of reason. And this is one of these gentlemen. Now, I wasn't sure when I first started listening to him whether he was a pro or anti-Trump, and I didn't care. I just started listening to him. And but you listen to this guy. Now, this guy seems to make sense too.
Over the past 2 days, I have seen several people online attempt to establish a link between cuts at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the tragedy that happened in Texas on July the 4th. These are the facts surrounding that disaster.
Let's hear the facts. What are the facts?
The National Weather Service issued its first flood watch on Thursday, July the 3rd, the day before the disaster. Then, just after midnight on the day of the disaster, the National Weather Service issued another flood watch. An hour later...
Wait, they did? Wow, they issued another flood watch? What the hell happened there? Oh, that was weird.
Over the past 2 days, I have seen several
sorry
people
about that. I haven't played again.
Attempt to establish a link
play through.
between cuts at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the tragedy that happened in Texas on July the 4th. These are the facts surrounding that disaster. The National Weather Service issued its first flood watch on Thursday, July the 3rd, the day before the disaster. Then, just after midnight on the day of the disaster, the National Weather Service issued another flood watch. An hour later, at 1 o'clock in the morning, they upgraded that flood watch to a flood warning, which would have triggered the alert tones on mobile phones. Then, at 4 o'clock in the morning, they declared a flooding emergency. The Guadalupe River reached its crest at 4:30 in the morning.
Did you get that timeline? Warning, 1:30 a.m., emergency 4:15 a.m., and the crested at 4:30 a.m. This was an immensely quick flash flood. At 4:30 in the morning, when most people are sleeping. So you can imagine why maybe, even if they had their phones going, they didn't all hear the sounds. Okay? Who do you blame for that? Oh, the weather. You blame the weather.
As for the number of forecasters on duty, typically on a weekend like that, 2 forecasters are working. In this case, there were 5 forecasters working. So as you can see, there was no shortage of warning, and there was no shortage of forecasting capability. You guys know how I feel about that creature in the White House.
This is no fan of Donald Trump.
Disaster and placing blame where it isn't due just makes us look bad. So please, don't be circulating these rumors. They're not true.
All right, so there you go. I wish I had more time, but I do have several articles out here. Meteorologists, this is the article from Breitbart. They had extra, I didn't even have that on the screen. They had extra staff during the floods, not impacted by Trump's cuts. Okay. Oh, by the way, a couple of people have been getting fired over their bullshit posts of saying that they got what they deserved or whatever. This pediatrician in Texas no longer has a job after she made comments online about the deadly flooding in the central part of the state. Right here, this is the sort of right here. May all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets be safe and dry. Kirk County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts. Oh, well, you gonna lose your job. Also, the lady we listened to yesterday, it was saying that there was a camp of white people, of all white people. She got fired too. She's a Houston official fired over racially tinged TikTok rant about searching for missing girls. By the way, we know that it wasn't all white girls because there were 2 Mexican camp counselors that were working, like Mexican nationals that were camp counselors. They heroically saved or got 23 girls to safety doing their job. So, kudos to them. But NOAA is trending because of this, and I have several other articles open. Let's see. Oh, there's a trial. This is the last thing I'm talking about. There's a trial in California, a suit by a UCLA professor who was targeted and smeared for refusing leniency in exams for black students. Over 5 years has passed since the student at UCLA Business School, since a student in UCLA Business School, Professor Gordon Klein Spring 2020 Principles of Taxation course, emailed him an appeal on behalf of black Bruins, requesting that leniency in course grading be applied, but only to his black classmates due to the social climate following the George Floyd killing in Minnesota. That email and Professor Klein's reply declining to engage in race-based preferential treatment of a subset of students precipitated a series of administration and social media actions against him. Legal insurrection covered the events and eventually a lawsuit by Professor Klein since its inception. After Professor Klein's private email was posted on social media prompting a targeted campaign against him, UCLA kowtowed to the online mob and immediately placed Professor Klein on administrative leave and banished him from campus. Though his employment was later reinstated, UCLA's disciplinary treatment of Professor Klein and public condemnation of his character resulted in threats of physical violence against him and his family, emotional turmoil, as well as substantial economic losses arising most notably from the abrupt end to his long-standing collateral business as an expert witness. In his lawsuit against the University of California Regents and the dean of the UCLA Anderson School of Management, Professor Klein seeks $22 million in damages. The trial began on Tuesday, July 1st, before California Superior Court Judge H.J. Floyd III. And at the trial, in attendance also in the Santa Monica courtroom was a small gallery of observers comprised mostly of Professor Klein's supporters and plaintiffs in other lawsuits against the University of California and other universities, as well as one of the named defendants, Dean Antonio Bernardo. Professor Klein was called as a first witness. He began his testimony by detailing his 44-year history of teaching at over 25,000 students at UCLA in the MBA program, during which time he has never been disciplined. His employment has been consistently renewed, and he's received merit-based raises in all but 2 evaluation periods. So, interesting case. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I strongly encourage you to do it. It should be a fascinating case. If I'm going to say he's probably, I don't know. It's California, so you never know, but I would assume that he's going to win. And I am going to leave one special link out here for you in the links today, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You gotta when I drop these links, I don't know if anyone ever uses them for anything. I expect you to use them today because I want you to find the mystery link. If you find the mystery link, you can tell me about it tomorrow. It is related to today's show, though, I promise. So, on that note, I am going to drop the links in the chat here in just a moment, and I hope that you all have a wonderful flippin' day. I plan to, well, sort of. Oh, I have a concert today. We have to sing tonight. So I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. But anyway, here are today's links. Oops, yes. From the show, and I'll be in the chat. I got to go. Thanks, everybody. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.